Hi everyone, it's Allison Ridderford with Serenity Nutrition and Wellness. Today, I want to talk to you about the not so sweet side of sugar. We all pretty much know by this point that sugar is bad for us. But why is it bad for us? And how much is too much? There's two types of sugar. There is natural sugar, such as that found in fruits, vegetables, and unsweetened dairy. And then there's added sugar. It's this added sugar that's really hurting our health, and something that we would all benefit from cutting down on. The first thing I want to tell you is what happens inside of our bodies when we eat sugar or simple carbohydrates for that matter. The very first thing that happens is the amount of glucose or sugar circulating around in our bloodstream goes up. That's called our blood sugar level. To bring it back down, the pancreas pumps out a hormone called insulin. And insulin instructs the body to pull those glucose molecules out of the blood, hence lowering blood sugar. When the insulin pulls those molecules out of the blood, something needs to be done with them. There's two options. They're either used for energy. You may go for a run or do a high intensity workout, or those glucose molecules are stored as fat. That's why oftentimes people refer to insulin as the fat storing hormone. Now this whole system right here works really efficiently, especially when we're young. But if we continue to eat a diet that's high in sugar and processed food, eventually that insulin just can't keep up. And when that happens, the amount of sugar in our blood sugar levels get too high. That is called diabetes. Sugar doesn't just affect our blood though. It also has an effect on our brain. Eating a diet high in sugar has been linked with anxiety, ADHD, depression, even mental illness. While it's not the sole cause of these conditions, it absolutely contributes to each and every one of them. It's also addictive. When we eat sugar, it activates those dopamine receptors up in our brain. That's our pleasure center. That's the same area that gets activated if we take drugs or drink alcohol, for example. It's also the reason that if we're sad, have low energy, have anxiety, we're very stressed about something, we tend to crave sugar and simple carbohydrates. What you're really craving is the dopamine. People all the time blame themselves for a lack of willpower when it comes to giving in to carbohydrate or sugar cravings. But the fact is, your body becomes chemically dependent on them. Sugar is addictive. If the impact on your brain and your blood sugar is not enough, sugar also contributes to just about every condition that we fear the most. I mentioned diabetes. It's also linked to heart disease, high blood pressure, dementia, a compromised immune system, stroke, other circulatory problems, and accelerated aging. Yes, eating sugar actually gives you wrinkles. Now you may be thinking, well, this doesn't really apply to me. I feel pretty good and I don't have any of these conditions listed here. But that's wrong. It applies to all of us. When we eat sugar, it is processed in our bodies the same way by every single one of us. The only difference is the sensitivity that we have to it and the amount of time that poor nutrition takes to turn into disease. If you eat a diet high in sugar, it's not a matter of if you will end up with one of these conditions. It's really just a question of when. So how much sugar is too much? The World Health Organization suggests that we eat no more than 25 grams or 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. Well, guess how much the average US adult consumes? 94 grams of sugar. That is a huge pile of sugar. That's over 23 teaspoons a day. And the amount that our body needs? 0. Sugar is not a nutrient. It is not essential to our health. Now, it's hard to avoid sugar because 3 out of 4 of the products in our grocery store contain added sugar. You really have to read labels to become aware of where that sugar is hidden. Here's a couple examples of foods that are touted as healthy, but contain a lot of added sugar. First is this fruit flavored yogurt. For just 2/3 of a cup, 22 grams of sugar. A tall chai tea latte from Starbucks, 32 grams of sugar. And a standard size Jamba Juice Dream Machine smoothie, 89 grams of sugar. That's over 3 days worth of sugar in just one serving. I used to consume all of these things as part of what I thought was a healthy diet. I had no idea how much they were damaging my health. Here's another product that's promoted as healthy. We have organic 100% whole grain bread. But even this has added sugar. For just one slice, there are 4 grams of added sugar. So if you have a couple pieces of toast for breakfast or a sandwich for lunch, you've just added 8 grams of sugar to your day, eating something that you bought because you thought it was healthy. It is really important to read labels and become aware of how much sugar there is in the products that are out there in your grocery store. Are you motivated to start cutting down on your sugar intake? Here's how you start. I mentioned already, read food labels. And then become aware of how much sugar you eat. Add up your sugar grams for a typical day of eating and see where you are in relation to that 25 gram suggested maximum. And then take some steps to cut down on the sugar. While you're doing this, pay attention to your body. Listen to what it's trying to tell you. See how it feels. And then I would love if you would share your experiences down below with some comments. What works for you? What doesn't work? We are all here to learn from each other, and your comments will help with that. Speaking of sharing, if you know somebody who would benefit from listening to this video, please pass it along. Remember, we are all in this together. See you next time.